This is my review of My Hero Academia, Chapter 234, Sense of Destruction. And my big thought after reading all of this is, what kind of monster was Shigaraki's father? That might seem like a weird place to come in here, but let me explain my thinking. So we basically see all of Shigaraki's families in this chapter. We see his sister, who's telling him that she should just do like she does and lie about what she wants. We see his mother, who's talking about how he scratched his eyes, possibly from crying too much. We see his grandparents, who are telling him he should stop being sad and to stop crying so much. They're trying to comfort him. They're loving, and yet we don't see his father. I'm thinking his father might have been the one that caused this pain, that caused this suffering, that he was an abusive, drunken, alcoholic, rage monster, something. It's even said the quirk is related to a person's, emotions, physicality, all that. So is it possible that his quirk evolved as a way of counteracting his father, as a way of stopping his father who had put him through so much, who had tortured him his entire life? We also get an absolutely incredible line, second to third last page. What I needed them to tell me was... I mean, that line just gave me complete shivers. Because if you remember back in the first chapter, the second episode, that's what Deku said. He said, back then, Mom, what I need you to tell me was that I could be a hero. Did Shigaraki want to be a hero? And what's more, he might want that, and yet he was quirkless. At least up to that point before his, destructive quirk activated, whatever. But he was essentially considered quirkless back then. He was a quirkless nobody who wanted to be a hero. And what's more, his family hates heroes. Or at least part of it does. Remember what it was said way back when? The reason that All Might and Gran Torino didn't talk with the family of their old friend, his old master, was because the family came to hate heroes after losing her? Could it be that this is a boy without a quirk who, despite everything his family says, still wants to be a hero, still wants to stand up and do what's right and protect people, as his father beats him and tells him, no, you don't, you can't. And as they're telling him it's going to be okay, as they're trying to cheer him up, all he kept thinking himself is, no, family, don't you understand? What I want you to tell me was that I too could be a hero. And if I'm not entirely wrong, I think that might have been what his sister wanted too. You should have kept quiet. You should do like I do. I'm telling Daddy that I want to be a bride someday. So she's essentially saying, oh, I'm just going to tell him I'm going to be a housewife. That's fine. He's not going to know my true goals. I'm not going to tell him that I really want to be a hero, just like Grandma was. It even remembers a few chapters back, the picture of their grandma was hidden because they are angry about her death, angry that she threw herself into the line of danger time and time again, even though she had a family to support, even though she had a family that loved her and misses her now. So I think that feeling, that desire to be a hero, was in Shigaraki, was in Hana. They wanted to be heroes. They wanted to stand up and do what's right, even if their father told them no, even if they didn't have the quirk needed to do it. So I think this feeling was definitely in Hana and Shigaraki. They both wanted to be heroes, despite what their family told them. And if that is the case, this made the story about Shigaraki just so much more interesting. I mean, a common fan art, fan fiction in the community I've seen is villain Deku. What if Deku became a villain? Which, I have my own theory on this. I might make it a video at some point because I really like where I'm going with it in my head. But moving on. The very same thing could be said for Shigaraki. What if he became a hero? I think it's very possible there is an alternate future, an alternate reality where he is the new symbol of peace, where All Might found him, realized that he is the grandson of his teacher, and said, I am going to raise him. I'm going to make you the next symbol of peace. I'm going to give you the power, one for all. I think this also increases my theory that All for One actually gave Shigaraki his destructive quirk. I know that might sound insane, but I mean, he was the grandson of All Might's teacher, the one who fought All for One way back when. I mean, he even said during the fight with All Might, oh, please, you don't even have to bother checking it, because you know that's exactly the thing I would have done. Exactly, yeah, turning the grandson of All Might's master into a villain, that makes perfect sense. But I think he would have gone a step further. I think he would have actually given him the quirk in the first place. Anyway, then we find out a little bit more about quirks in this chapter that's really interesting. He activates his destruction quirk with 2 fingers, not 5. Which, yeah, that was unexpected. I mean, he even had to ask himself, wait a minute, was our information wrong? I thought it was 5 fingers, and I mean, he lost half his hand, so that would have been very hard for him. But then Reed Esther explains that with the right catalyst, a person's quirk can evolve right on the spot, right then in battle, and we've seen that in this whole huge freaking combat thing. Shigaraki's quirk evolves so that it can spread through people. Toga's quirk evolves so that she can actually copy the quirks of the people's whose blood she steals. Quirks can evolve. That's something we've known at least through this arc. But it does... oof. It creates a problem that I'm concerned about. I mean, the same thing happened in Black Clover, where they said, oh, did you know that with the right stressors, a new spell can just happen to appear just like that? Isn't that interesting? I'm like, oh yeah, that's a cop-out. Now you can just say down the road, oh, they were under the right level of stress, so they gained the exact spell they needed in this situation. I feel like they could do that here, where they can say, oh, his quirk evolved, so you can handle this. Woohoo! I mean, the author here has proven himself to be incredibly skilled time and time again, so I'm not overly concerned about it, but it still feels like a crutch they could lean on to, you know, get themselves out of situations that they otherwise couldn't. Again, great author. I respect his work. I think he's done an amazing job with this, so I'm not too concerned, but it's still an issue we need to look out for throughout the rest of the series. Anyway, then Reed Esther says that he actually respects Shigaraki right here and now, because he can tell that the skills he's shown now just are proof to him that Shigaraki's gone through some incredible life or death training over essentially the last 2 months, his, battle with Giganta Machina. And he just says to himself, I see, I'm sorry for underestimating you. You truly do care about getting stronger. You truly do care about achieving your goal, whatever it may be. And so I'm going to fight you full force. And then he does, which is absolutely freaking terrifying. I mean, seriously, this guy, he is a freaking monster. I really thought, he was like King Kong or the Hulk or whatever, but no, this is straight up terrifying. I mean, the stress not only enhances his body, but actually acts like a mask over his mouth, which is just so disturbing. And then his freaking physical strength is probably equal to All Might's, I'd have to guess. I mean, he destroys just blocks and blocks of houses with a single punch. And things are looking bad, but Giganto Machina has appeared! So yeah, as the battle's going on, Skepta calls him up and tells him they had a real monster lying in wait, and Giganta's here, and he looks bigger. Don't actually remember what his quirk is, but he actually looks bigger than he did when Shigaraki and everybody was fighting him, which is concerning. Anyway, last shot we got is Shigaraki covered with 2 hands, bleeding, and just staring at the ground, contemplating essentially everything, what he's been fighting for, his life, his meaning, all of that. And if I had to guess, I'd say the 2 hands that are left on him are his father's hands. I think next chapter we're finally going to get him confirmation of him saying it. Confirmation that I was right in this theory, at least. That he wanted to be a hero, and that his father told him no, that his father hated heroes, that his father said, you can't do it, you have no quirk, you're weak, you're useless, and probably beat him, too. At least that's what I think's going to happen. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and until next time,
Peace.